Welcome to episode 118 of your CySA Plus Prepcast. In this session, we focus on a critical operational element within any effective cybersecurity program: vulnerability management action plans. These structured plans are essential for taking identified security weaknesses and translating them into prioritized, trackable, and executable remediation strategies. Action plans allow cybersecurity teams to communicate clearly with technical stakeholders, compliance officers, and business leadership. They outline exactly what needs to be done, by whom, when it must be completed, and what supporting steps or safeguards may be required. Whether working in a security operations center, risk management team, or compliance program, understanding how to develop and manage actionable vulnerability response plans is a fundamental skill for both CySA Plus certification and real-world cybersecurity success. The foundation of every effective action plan begins with clear identification of the vulnerabilities requiring remediation. Each entry must be precisely defined, including the vulnerability name, identification number, affected systems or software, and technical explanation of the underlying issue. These details provide clarity and prevent ambiguity, ensuring stakeholders understand what they are tasked with fixing and why the issue matters. Defining the scope of each vulnerability is also crucial. This includes whether the vulnerability impacts internal systems, internet-facing assets, critical infrastructure, or third-party environments that support business operations. Each vulnerability must also be assigned a risk score or prioritization level. Risk ratings are typically derived from standardized frameworks such as the Common Vulnerability Scoring System. These scores evaluate exploitability, potential impact, required access, user interaction, and whether known exploits exist. Assigning and including these scores ensures prioritization is consistent across systems and teams. For instance, a vulnerability with a severity score of 9 or higher would typically require immediate attention and should be highlighted with an expedited timeline in the plan. Configuration management tasks should be explicitly listed within action plans where applicable. Many vulnerabilities can be mitigated or resolved through configuration changes, such as updating firewall rules, disabling insecure services, modifying access control policies, or enabling logging and monitoring settings. The plan must include not just what changes are required, but how they should be implemented, who will implement them, and what validation steps are needed to confirm they are applied successfully. Documenting these changes helps reduce miscommunication and ensures consistent execution. Patching remains a cornerstone of remediation. For vulnerabilities that are resolved through software updates, the action plan must include explicit instructions for patch deployment. This includes patch versions, sources, system dependencies, and whether pre-deployment testing is required. The plan should also identify affected systems, responsible personnel, rollout schedules, and post-deployment verification steps, including rollback strategies in case of patch failure as a best practice, especially in environments where system availability is critical. In scenarios where vulnerabilities cannot be immediately resolved, compensating controls must be documented and approved. These may include increased network segmentation, limiting access to vulnerable services, enabling application layer firewalls, enhancing monitoring, or implementing stricter authentication policies. Compensating controls should always be time-bound and monitored, with the goal of transitioning to full remediation as soon as practical. The action plan must clearly state which controls have been applied, why they were selected, and under what conditions they will be reevaluated. Timelines are essential for driving progress. Each action item must include start and due dates, along with milestones if the remediation is complex or multi-phased. Including deadlines encourages accountability and enables vulnerability management teams to track and report progress over time. Action plans should also establish thresholds for escalation if remediation deadlines are missed or if issues arise that could delay completion. Documenting remediation windows also helps ensure alignment with compliance obligations or service-level agreements. Assignment of ownership is another foundational element. Every action item in the plan must have a named individual or team responsible for execution. Assignments should reflect the organization's operational structure and skill distribution. Technical remediation should be assigned to system owners, while communication and policy actions may be handled by compliance officers or risk managers. Including contact details and backup assignments prevents confusion and ensures continuity in case of staff absences. Education and awareness tasks should also be part of action planning, especially when user behavior contributed to the exposure. For example, if a phishing vulnerability led to credential compromise, the plan might include mandatory training for affected departments. These actions demonstrate a commitment to addressing root causes and help reduce the risk of similar incidents in the future. Training actions should be described with learning objectives, target audiences, and timelines for completion. Business alignment must be built into the remediation process. Action plans should reflect awareness of business priorities, operational dependencies, and technology lifecycle constraints. This means coordinating remediation schedules with application release cycles, business-critical operations, or vendor availability. Remediation efforts that ignore business needs may introduce disruptions or resistance, which can lead to delays and friction across departments. Including business context helps ensure that plans are not only technically sound, but also operationally feasible. Finally, documentation is a central feature of any high-quality action plan. Every action item, owner, deadline, exception, and result must be tracked and recorded. Documentation supports audits, facilitates communication, and enables historical analysis. When reviewing trends across multiple reporting cycles, clear documentation allows organizations to identify recurring issues, assess root causes, and adapt long-term remediation strategies. It also provides a learning tool for new team members or business units that are building or refining their own vulnerability management procedures. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Regular review and updating of action plans is essential for maintaining their effectiveness over time. Vulnerability landscapes are not static, and action plans must evolve to reflect newly discovered weaknesses, emerging threat intelligence, and changes in the organization's systems or infrastructure. Scheduled review cycles, whether weekly, monthly, or aligned with patch cycles, ensure that action plans remain accurate, relevant, and actionable. These reviews help identify outdated tasks, completed remediations, or shifts in prioritization. By building regular review into the action planning process, organizations prevent stagnation and ensure alignment with real-time risk conditions. Clear communication of action plans is critical to their success. Plans must be disseminated to all relevant stakeholders, including technical teams, security leadership, compliance departments, and executive sponsors. Dissemination involves more than just email delivery. It may include stakeholder briefings, presentations, dashboard integration, or review meetings to ensure that everyone understands their roles, timelines, and interdependency. Communication also includes follow-ups, reminders, and escalations when deadlines are missed or when blockers emerge. The goal is full organizational awareness and alignment around vulnerability remediation priorities. Integrating key performance indicators into action plans allows organizations to track progress and assess the effectiveness of their remediation strategy. Metrics such as time to remediate, number of overdue vulnerabilities, or percentage of closed issues per cycle offer measurable views into how well the team is performing. These indicators support internal reporting, guide strategic decisions, and provide accountability. They also help highlight systemic issues, such as delays caused by resource limitations, inadequate tooling, or process inefficiencies that need to be addressed for long-term success. Exceptions must be documented transparently within action plans. In some cases, it may be determined that a vulnerability will not be remediated due to operational risk, vendor dependency, or limited business impact. When such decisions are made, the rationale must be clearly recorded, along with any compensating controls that have been implemented, and the conditions under which the exception may be revisited. Exception documentation should be reviewed regularly, particularly when new threats emerge or when system configurations change. Action plans should also define escalation procedures for use when remediation is blocked or delayed. These procedures identify when an issue should be elevated to senior management or a governance body for resolution. Escalation criteria might include missed deadlines, discovery of exploit activity, conflicts between teams, or a lack of available technical resources. By establishing clear escalation paths, organizations reduce the risk of inaction and ensure that high-risk vulnerabilities receive the attention they require, regardless of internal barriers. The use of automated platforms to manage action plans is becoming increasingly common. Vulnerability management systems, ticketing tools, and security orchestration platforms can be configured to track remediation tasks, assign owners, send reminders, and update progress in real time. Automation reduces administrative workload, ensures consistency, and improves data accuracy. These tools often integrate with security dashboards, enabling leadership to view remediation status at a glance and allowing auditors to verify compliance with internal policies and external requirements. Detailed technical instructions within action plans help eliminate confusion during implementation. These instructions should specify command line syntax, configuration values, rollback procedures, validation methods, and known issues associated with the remediation. The goal is to remove guesswork and provide teams with everything they need to execute tasks safely and efficiently. Providing detailed instructions also helps avoid errors that might otherwise introduce instability or require repeat efforts. Assessment of completed remediation tasks is necessary to verify that actions were effective. Analysts should perform follow-up vulnerability scans, conduct manual reviews, or even execute penetration tests to confirm that the vulnerability has been fully addressed. Incomplete or ineffective remediation can create a false sense of security and leave systems exposed. Post-remediation validation ensures that fixes were implemented correctly and that no residual risk remains. This process reinforces quality assurance and contributes to accurate reporting. Inhibitors to remediation must also be addressed within the plan. These may include legacy systems with no available patches, proprietary software with vendor restrictions, critical workloads that cannot tolerate downtime, or lack of staff with the necessary skills. The action plan should identify each inhibitor and suggest mitigation options. This might involve isolating systems, negotiating vendor support, reallocating resources, or incorporating the risk into strategic plans. By confronting these challenges directly, organizations are better positioned to manage risk in realistic and sustainable ways. Comprehensive documentation of completed action plans serves as a valuable knowledge repository. These records help organizations understand past vulnerabilities, what worked during remediation, and where delays or challenges occurred. They support root cause analysis and trend monitoring, and they provide reference points for building future action plans. This body of knowledge also assists with onboarding new team members, supporting audits, and reinforcing organizational memory around how security risks have historically been handled. To summarize, Episode 118, well-structured action plans transform vulnerability data into clear, trackable, and achievable remediation strategies. From assigning responsibilities and defining timelines to addressing exceptions and verifying outcomes, action plans serve as a practical blueprint for reducing risk and strengthening security posture. By integrating metrics, communication, automation, and continuous review, action plans evolve from static documents into dynamic tools that drive real progress. Whether in support of compliance, operations, or strategic security goals, the ability to develop and manage effective action plans is a core capability for any cybersecurity professional. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.